All right, so every game 4 of the NHL Round 1 playoffs has finished. Some series have actually been finished and won by teams, so we're going to get to that. And let's get straight into this. So the first game I'm going to be talking about is the Boston Bruins Capitals. And the Bruins go now after this went up 3-1 in the series with a 4-1 victory over Washington. Pretty good one for them. So yeah, let's get into it. Tuukka Rask had some really good saves. There was a good goalie work in the first period. There was actually no goals in the first period. It was kind of a nail biter. I mean, there wasn't goals for a little bit of a long time until 12 minutes left in the second. Brad Marchand scored and put the Bruins up 1-0. And there'll still be decent goaltending. We head to second intermission. David Pastrnak scored 30 seconds into the third period, putting Boston up 2-0. And they actually went up 3-0 by a Charlie Coyle goal. So, definitely a really big lead for them. Alex Ovechkin put Washington on the board with 15 minutes left in the third period. So, yeah, definitely good for them. However, with just about 5 minutes left in the game, Matt Grzelcyk scored for the Boston Bruins, putting them up 4-1. At that point, you can't recover from that. Final score, 4 for the Bruins, 1 for the Caps. Next game, the Penguins lost badly, also a 4-1 game, to the Islanders, and that ties up the series 2-2. So let's get into it. Ilya Sorokin was in net for the Isles, and there was actually like the other game, there was pretty good goaltending at the beginning. No goals in the first. However, Josh Bailey put the Isles on the board, 1-0, 11 minutes left in the second period after a really nice goal slapper. I thought it was saved at first, but it just went through that window. Ryan Polak scored for the Islanders, putting them up 2-0, 5 minutes left in the second. And then we head to intermission. There would still be a couple more goals. The Islanders went up 3-0, about 7 minutes into the third period. 3-0 after Oliver Wahlstrom scored. Really nice. Actually, I don't know how good of a goal it was. He kind of got lucky. Went right past the glove of Tristan Jarry. Kind of unlucky, but for them. And they actually went up 4-0, so kind of a beating for the Penguins. Jordan Eberle scored 13 minutes left, so the Islanders got a nice 4-0 advantage. And however, kind of in garbage time when the game was already pretty much over, 2.5 minutes left in the game, Zachary Aston Reese scored for the Penguins, but yeah, that ended it. 4-1 final score, so that ties up the series. So now we head to the next game, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. I despise the Knights, just putting it out there, but they did take a nice win, shutout over the Wild. They go up 3-1 in the series, and yeah, pretty good game for them, obviously. So 4-0 victory. So Marc-Andre Fleury was amazing in this game. I mean, he's usually pretty good, and a 4-0 victory is something good for his track record. This game was in Minnesota. Nicholas Roy got the first goal coming around. It was a one-on-one situation, and he just got it in. And Joel Eriksson-Ek, there was actually a goal called back, I believe, and they didn't. It went in the net. It was a pretty nice goal, but it was called back. So that. Instead of tying the game, they were still down 1-0. Alex Tuck, 10 minutes left in the second, scored for Vegas, 2-0 at that point. The rest of the scoring would just be from Vegas, obviously. Mark Stone, 6 minutes left in the second. He's been amazing this playoffs. It was a breakaway, no way to stop him, even with a pretty decent goalie like Talbot. Then we head to the third period. Fleury still going strong. Nicholas Roy put the game away for the Knights as there was an empty net. So that was it, 4-0. Golden Knights get the win. And yeah, next game we head to Tampa Bay, the Battle of Florida once again. Tampa Bay takes a pretty commanding 3-1 lead after a 6-2 victory over the Panthers. So they bounce back. This game was in Tampa Bay as well. And the first goal was just 3 minutes in. Anthony Cirelli scored. Pretty nice goal for him. I mean, there was like no one even near him. It was a breakaway. So no way to stop that for Florida. And yeah, Yanni Gourde put them up 2-0 with 12.5 minutes left in the first period. Once again, a good goal. They have good passing. Kucherov, getting that assist, and he tipped it in. However, Florida got on the board 11 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first on a Jonathan Huberdeau goal. It was a pretty good goal. Vasilevsky's a great goalie. He just couldn't get there. Right where his blind spot was. He was very close to saving it, though. However, Palat scored 3 minutes left in the first period for Tampa Bay. 3 goals in the first period, very good for them. In the second period, with about 6 minutes into it, Alex Killorn scored for Tampa Bay. They went up 4-1, and they went up 5-1 with another goal from Killorn. So he got back-to-back goals. However, Carter Verhaeghe scored for the Florida Panthers 5-2 at that point, though. Can't really come back from that. And Nikita Kucherov, who's been, a great player, scored for Tampa Bay, 6-2 victory for them. So let's get to the next game. This is a really interesting series so far. Double overtime, the Preds beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-3. I'm liking this series, no doubt. Luke Kunin scored for the Predators to open the game up just 1 minute in. I'm liking that momentum from Nashville. Vincent Trocheck scored for the Canes, making it 1-1. So a very, back and forth type game. Ryan Johansson, however, gave Nashville the lead 5 minutes into the second, 2-1, and pretty good goaltending from both teams. But, obviously one team came out in front. Brock McGinn scored with 2 minutes left about in the second period, putting it as a tie game. Good one for the Canes. And the Canes scored again from Brock McGinn just 13 seconds into the third period, so that gave them the 3-2 advantage. However, with 16 minutes left in the third, Nick Cousins tied the game up for Nashville. And at that point, we head to overtime, in which there'd be no goals. Good goaltending so far, but the Predators got a really good goal by Luke Kunin, who's just, a great player right now. And that was, the game was going for a long time, and that tied up the series. So good win for Nashville. They tied the series 2-2. So here's our first winner. That'll move on to the second round. The Colorado Avalanche swept the St. Louis Blues 4-0, obviously. They beat them 5-2 in Game 4. A lot of good scoring. There'd be actually no goals in the first period. Good goaltending from Grubauer and Binnington. However, the Blues actually did get the first goal. Vladimir Tarasenko got a goal for them. There's really no way to say that. A lot of breakaways in this playoffs. I've talked about them a lot. But yeah, it was a breakaway. Brandon Saad, however, tied the game up at 12 minutes into the second. And from there, it was all Avalanche. Landeskog, captain, scored 15 minutes into the second, 2-1 Avs. And we head to the third. Mikko Rantanen scored, making it 3-1 early in the third period. 3-2. Tarasenko was good in this. He got another goal, but it wouldn't be enough. 11:21 left in the third. Tarasenko got that goal, and they're facing elimination, so he was playing good. But Nathan McKinnon put the game away at the end to give Colorado the victory. So Colorado takes that, and they take the series. And he scored on an empty net. A couple more games. So the next one is Winnipeg taking the series over the Oilers in a great fashion in triple overtime. This is a very, very long game and a really exciting one. I'm kind of pulling for Winnipeg. I think, I kind of feel bad for cities that lose teams, and obviously they have a team now, but they did lose a team for a long period to Arizona, so, that's a different story. But they did get the 4-0 sweep in a very interesting thriller for Game 4. Mark Scheifele scored for Winnipeg, making it 1-0. That was 7 minutes in. However, Connor McDavid, of course it was Connor McDavid, 8 minutes into the first, he skated in quick and got a nice goal, tying the game up at 1-1. And actually, the Jets took the lead by Mason Appleton getting a goal about 16 minutes into the first. And we'd head to the second period where Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored for Edmonton. So a very back-and-forth game. Initially a McDavid miss, but he got it in, and good goal for him. Tied it up at 2, but Winnipeg took the lead. Edmonton took the lead with another goal. Alex Chiasson scored, and it was 3-2. Then we head to second intermission. Mark Scheifele scored again. He's great. 6 minutes into the third, 3-3 at this point. And then obviously we head to overtime. There'd be no scoring until the third period of overtime. So, crazy long game, to say the least. However, Kyle Connor scored for Winnipeg in triple overtime to send the Oilers home. It was a breakaway, and there you go. Winnipeg wins the series. So good way to beat, a team like this. The Oilers obviously have great players, but couldn't get the win. So, definitely a good win for Winnipeg. Final game, the Leafs take a 3-1 lead over the Canadiens. 4-0 victory in Montreal. So, dominating win. This game actually just ended a couple hours ago. So definitely an interesting one to watch. There'd be no goals in the first period. William Nylander, who's been pretty much perfect, playing his perfect game this entire series, scored about a minute and a half into the second. 1-0 Toronto. 2-0 after Jason Spezza scored 13 minutes into the second. Joe Thornton, baby. The dude I'm rooting for in this playoffs scored. You haven't seen a Joe Thornton goal in a long time, but I'm happy he did. He's very good at tipping. So he tipped it in 3-0 after Joe Thornton scored. I'm just happy for him. I'm rooting for Toronto because I wouldn't normally, but it's Joe Thornton. If you're a Sharks fan, you love Joe Thornton automatically. He's our guy. Happy to see Thornton succeed. So then we head to the third period. I mean, really no way the Leafs could choke this, really. Alex Galchenyuk scored, making it 4-0. And at that point, the game's over. 4-0 Maple Leafs win. So with that, that's all the games that happened in terms of Game 4s. So there will be definitely more happening that I will talk about. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and yeah.